In today's band, I've drawn up the dots with a good amount of distance between them. You can see my hand almost fits inside this band, and I've done that because in my experience, when we want to work with bands like this and practice our rhythm, it's nice that the band is quite large. The larger the better. And what you want to do is you want to draw up your stops from the third dot from the top all the way down through the band, and then you want to radiate a couple of stops out from the middle dot here. Once you've done that, you then want to go through your band, and here we go from the bottom here all the way towards the top, and then back down, and then here we're turning, coming in, meeting a couple of stops, so here we're turning, and then again here we have to turn, and then out to the side we're turning in again, and then here we're coming in and meeting a couple of stops, so we're turning out, and then here we're coming down through our band all the way, and then back up and out to the side, and then down and in through our band here, catching our dots but meeting stops, so we turn at the top here, we're coming down, and then at the side, we're turning back in, coming into our center, and then back out and meeting up with our line where we started it. So you go through the band in one motion like this. That's what you do when you just want to test your way through the band. What you want to do now is you want to do this rhythmically and maybe put in micro pauses. So I'm going to use a red and we'll go through the band. So I'm going to put a bit of pressure on here, coming up and over and then down, and here I've got speed on, so I'm coming back up in, and here I'm making a micro pause, so it gives me a bit of a point. Then I'm coming down and then back up. Now, I don't like to have a micro pause here in Kutzli's book. This is shown as having a bit of a pointy edge or a sort of a sharper curve, but I'm going to keep mine rounded and then not have my micro pause until here in the center, and then coming back out and coming down and up, and then down into the center, micro pause, and then here I'm rounding, and then a micro pause, and then back out, meeting up with my line. So we go round all the way into a micro pause, swinging round, micro pause, coming round, down, up and down into a micro pause, and swinging round into a micro pause, and then down. Now you might think, well, you're getting close to some of these dots, and actually if you've got Kutzli's workbook, you'll see that in some of the forms that are shown in the book, the lines are also very close to some of the dots and various exercises. It's not so much about whether you're close to these dots or not. These are meant as sort of guidelines. What you want is you want to feel the rhythm as you're moving through, and then you want to work with creating beautiful bands, so that, you know, now here we've got dots that we're following, but once we've practiced this a number of times, we can do it without the dots. When you're going to draw your form freehand, I suggest that for the form that I just showed you, you put a little dot in each of the corners of your micro pauses in the center of the form, and I just suggest you do that. What you can do, you can draw them up and then you can simply rub them out again, because you will still be able to see where those points were, and they will guide you, but they won't disturb the form once you've drawn it. Here we're going up and then down, and then coming into our form, to our point. Here I'm rounding, coming down towards my point, then back out of my form, then rounding down and back up, and then down. And here I can't really see, so here I'm stopping, moving my hand around, and then I'm coming to my point. Now here I can see, so here I go round, coming up to my point, and back out, down and round. Here is the form. Now, as you can see, this curve here didn't have quite the same flow as this curve here. But what you can do is you just simply go over your form. Now that you've drawn it up, you can go over your form again and adjust it as you see fit. The main point here is that now you're drawing it freehand. And here I'd like this to be a little bit more narrow, this bit here. So I'm drawing my line further in, then coming in to meet my point, and coming round. And actually making my curve here a little bit smaller. Maybe it should have been in between the two. I can adjust that the next time I come round, and round and up. And I really want, that to sit on a line. So this bit here should really be on a line with this. If it was to be a little bit more like a mirror, I could extend this the next time I come down. So I go up and then down, and then here I can sort of keep an eye on it as I'm coming down, then go up and then come round. So you see here how now we're drawing the same form, playing with the form as I'm coming round, and just maybe I'll make this a little bit shorter as well. So here again, you can go over this form if you want to with an eraser as well. I've drawn this up with a pencil, so it's easy to just go in and do a little bit of erasing if you want to do that, and clean up your form like that. But basically it's just to give you a feel for the form without all the dots in place. And the more you practice initially with your dots, the more you'll be able to get it just so when you're doing it without the dots. So have fun with that, enjoy, and I'll see you next week with a new form drawing exercise.